There is nothing wrong with your internet. Do not attempt to adjust your settings. We are controlling the podcast. We control the squealing and the screams. We can make your heart flutter, your eyes blur from tears, or sharpen your mind to crystal clarity. For the next hour, sit back. We are in control of what you hear. We repeat, there is nothing wrong with your settings. You are about to experience the awe and mystery known as the female mind. You are now entering the Fangirl Zone. Hello everyone and welcome to Sci-Fi Talk on the Fangirl Zone, a podcast where we discuss shows on the Sci-Fi Channel. I'm Sean, Fangirl S.
And I'm Steve, and tonight we'll be discussing episode 5 of season 3 of Channel Zero, Butcher's Block.
Oh my god. This has gotten so weird.
Yes, it has.
Like, we were saying that in the beginning, but it's exceeded weirdness.
Oh, absolutely it has. We got a whole bunch in this episode that just isn't right.
So, we were talking off air. And Steve and I think, are in agreement that this one made us a little mad.
Yes.
So before we talk about it, let's talk about ratings.
All right. Episode 4 brought in a 0.08 in adults 18 to 49 with 0.254 million viewers, making it the 127th overall cable show.
I feel like there's way more people online talking about this at any given time. So that's weird.
Yes, it really is. Now, hopefully the Live Plus 7 days are doing well, but don't know. I mean, they can pick up 100% and because it's so low in the 18 to 49 rating, it wouldn't make the top 25. So just don't know.
Yeah. All right. So let's jump into episode 5, shall we?
All right.
The Red Door. But at least we know that's what they named it, finally.
Yeah.
Did you see the red door? Yeah, well, it's a red door. Okay. Anyway, Zoe discovers there's something else living in the summer house, and Alice reaches the point of no return. Yeah. So we do finally get to see that Vision come a little bit more in focus, finally.
Yes.
So that's good. But let's start at the beginning, shall we? And, where I was getting mad right from the start of this one.
Yeah.
Luke's dad, drinking a beer at his house, several beers it looked like, and half-ass crying.
Yeah.
I was like, what? No. You don't get to be sad. You're the jackass who did it. I was mad. Yeah. And then there was a knock on the door. Oh, time to face the music, Chief. Interesting. We had all sorts of, weird little things happening because we have the Peaches house, too. And all that weird shit today.
Yeah.
Oh, man. I wasn't sure at first who we were looking at because we seen one of the sisters.
Right, with blood all over her face.
And a bug being the giant centipede thing, which was creepy as hell, being pulled out of her mouth. And she's like,
yeah, like with this giant pliers that you just kind of go, oh, don't stick that down my throat.
No, it's like, okay, the person was gagging, so was I.
Yeah.
Now, we find out, though, that it is Zoe that we're seeing.
Right.
Because then we go and you have Alice asleep in her room and creepy little smart mouth watching her.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Yeah. I think it's probably no good.
Now, okay, this is going to get really weird here, so hang on, guys. Strap in.
And yeah.
Is Smartmouth supposed to be a child or just a little person?
I think he's just a little person.
Because there was others in this episode that
yes, there were.
They were supposed to be children, though, is what I felt. It was hard to tell, but the way their kind of attitudes were.
Right. And it's hard to tell with Smartmouth as well because we've seen him grab Robert's hand and we see the other ones grabbing Aldis's hands or Joseph's hands. So it's hard to tell if they're acting out of being a child or just being small.
Okay. But, I mean, he's just standing there watching her. I'm like, ew.
Yeah.
I freaked out. But Anyway, the next morning you have Zoe wandering around the halls. I love how they're just like so comfortable now. They're just like chilling, walking around in their nightgowns. Okay.
Yeah.
Really? Maybe no. But she sees Smartmouth tapping on the wall, like with his ear to it, like with that creepy grin too. I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Oh God, I just can't with the creepy little Smartmouth. But she's walking and she jumps because she hears Joseph's voice saying, "You're wasting time." It's like, okay, what are we talking about?
Yeah, it wasn't Joseph. It was Evelina.
That's right. Saying to Joseph.
Right.
And yeah, if we don't deliver the little girl by midnight, he won't be merciful because she's been marked. We've marked her. We have to do it. I'm like, who are we talking about? I'm assuming Izzy because they did weird stuff to Izzy.
Right. Absolutely. It had to be.
But then, like, Zoe kind of, like, peeks in the room and you see Joseph, like, listening to Edie's belly. And I'm like, I don't think the family is that demented that they would sacrifice whatever Edie's carrying.
Let's hope not, at least. Right. But you never know. I mean, the way they play up family, more than likely not.
But it was just like, I was starting to question that. I wasn't 100%.
Right.
And then we do see, like, leave the room all ticked off.
Yeah. Zoe has to hide before she gets busted.
Right. But hello, wouldn't Smartmouth have just busted her anyway? What is he listening for?
Well, I think he's hearing noises in the walls, like he used to do.
Oh, okay. Ew.
At Izzy's place, remember? He was inside the wall at Izzy's house.
Okay, that's even creepier then, because he licked the wall.
Yeah.
Behind it. Yeah, okay, going past it. Don't go back to Creepyville. Anywho, Alice wakes up and she's hearing things in the wall. And it's like, oh goody, everybody's hearing things in the wall. What is happening with this house?
Right.
Because then Zoe's like walking down a different hall and she sees the door and she hears flies and she has the vision. I'm like, this house is messed up.
Yes, it is. But it makes sense because the whole place is messed up.
Yes, it's true. That's true. It's growing things that are partially human. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is one really hard. Maybe if I had been drinking, it would have been better. I don't know. But she has the vision of that bull skull. And right. It forms more. It's not just so blurred and you see it and then it looks like it's a mask.
Right.
So we know there's somebody under it.
Or something.
That's true. I'm gonna keep saying there's somebody.
Okay.
We see it, but all I know is that this was creepy.
Yeah.
And then she takes off running. It's like, okay, apparently she can go so far.
Yeah. It's a little too freaky for me.
Yeah. So I'm wondering, because this is episode 5, we only get one more episode. Do you think we'll actually see whatever it is? And is that the landlord?
I would say, yes, it is the landlord. And yes, I think we're going to see it because I think Midnight's going to come and go and he's going to be pissed and they're going to end up going back up there trying to save Alice. And that thing will be rampaging.
Oh, interesting.
It won't matter who it's killing. It'll kill Peaches. It'll kill non-Peaches. It'll just kill everything. Yeah.
Take us back to the real world.
All right. Aldous and 2 of the Munchkins are walking in a field as Aldous wants to know where his brother is. And Chief is ahead of him saying he wants justice as we see the power lines where we saw Luke burying Robert. Chief tells Aldous that his son made a terrible mistake. He killed your brother. And you see the Munchkins kind of run up ahead, but he did pay the price. I did what I had to do, family for family, so we can tie it off here. There are 2 bodies in that hole.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, try that. No, it's cool. It's cool.
Yeah, and that's what I
believe in you there, Chief.
Right, yeah, and I figured that's what I said, that I thought that's why he did it, was to try to keep the Peaches from going on a rampage in town. Is an eye for an eye.
Yeah, but really, that's who you choose. Instead of trying to deal with them, you're like, I'll just kill my son. It's fine.
Yeah. His father's not all there either.
I don't think so.
I think there's something in the water in Butcher's Block.
And see, this is what I was talking about too, because the Munchkins, like, that's what we're calling them now, because I'm not sure if they're kids or what. Like, their attitude was so weird here.
Right.
And then they almost, okay, before I jump ahead, it almost turned into like a pet thing. So we'll talk about that in a minute. So go ahead.
Right.
Because we see the Munchkins kind of run up, and it's like, they look, and they're looking back like, I don't know what this dude's talking about.
Right. And Aldous walks up, and he turns back to the chief and says, "Did you forget how to count?"
Yeah, Chief looked a little scared when he said that. Like, wait, what?
Well, yeah. So he kind of gingerly walks up and sees that Luke isn't in there. And you go, oh, shit.
There's the bowling bag.
Yeah. And he tells Aldous that he took care of it. You got to believe me.
Obviously.
Aldous can just take you out right now and throw you in that grave.
And this is what I was saying about the Munchkins are kind of like pets, because all of a sudden Aldous says, oh, don't worry, we'll find Luke. They have the scent of his blood.
Right.
What? Are they tracking him now? Are they like bloodhounds? What is going on?
Yeah, apparently they do have certain abilities, and tracking seems to be one of them by the scent of blood. That was weird. Interesting.
I was going to say, this next scene, I was really confused for a few moments.
Okay. Because we go to Luke and Louise, and Louise is sewing up Luke's throat and telling him about her brother. Now, they had a fight before he disappeared, and she had stuck his finger in his face, and so he just took a hunk out of it and bit it off.
Which was weird that she's explaining this, so it's like, okay, I wonder if they were looking specifically for somebody who was missing a piece of their finger.
Right. I mean, we noticed it.
Yeah.
And so it's like, okay, how did that happen? And, I thought it might have been that she just cut it with one of them damn big saws she has. But no, her brother took it off of her.
But yeah, and ate it, apparently. What the hell?
Yeah. Her brother wasn't like I said, there's something in the water there. Makes people not think right. And of course, she goes on to say that she regrets that she wasn't unhappy when he first disappeared. She was kind of glad the pain in the ass was gone.
And this whole time she's talking to him, I'm like, I don't know if Luke's dead or alive.
Right. We don't know.
That's why I was like really confused. I'm like, is she just kind of like freaking out at this point and he's dead and she's trying to sew him up? Why didn't we go to a hospital? There's got to be something around. Or
right, you would think.
I mean, is there really nothing around at this point? And she's the best shot he has living? Or does she just not trust anything?
Yeah, I don't think she trusts anybody because the chief is in the Peach's pocket. So if she takes him to a hospital, the chief's going to get notified and he'll come finish the job. So that's why I think she tried to do it there in her house and try to keep word that he's been attacked as mum as possible.
Gotcha. But he wakes up, so.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, he is alive.
Yes, I don't really think that she would be sewing up his neck if he wasn't alive.
I mean, that makes sense, but it just seemed so weird. And I'm like, I don't know. Maybe this is how she's trying to cope.
Yeah, and it is possible because, you wouldn't I didn't expect to hear the story of her brother while she was doing that. And I guess she was getting it off her chest without really having anybody know about it.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. And it worked. She was able to, just kind of chill and discuss.
Yeah. And apparently she gave him some good drugs to knock him out while she sewed him up.
Yeah, because she rated the girls' stuff.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, she got into some of Zoe's meds.
Yeah, I guess whatever works.
Yep. So back up to the Peaches, and Zoe comes into the bedroom and tells Alice there is something else living in the house, and it's not a Peach, and they need to go.
And this is where I started to get angry, because this is where their whole attitude seems to have flipped.
Right.
Because Alice is like, no, I'm staying. I'm going to get rid of my madness. are you kidding, lady? Are you listening to what your sister is saying?
Right. No, she's not.
Because you've seen how your sister was right after.
Right.
And then you've seen how she kind of went back. And it's like, you're not listening.
No, she's not. She's got blinders on right now. All she sees is, I'm going to get well. Or the madness isn't going to get me.
Yeah, that's pretty much all she's caring about. And
right.
So he's like, I'm finding a way down.
Yeah. And gets out of there. And Alice hears the noise in the wall again.
And she'd be like, what the hell's in the walls?
Right. And she follows it through the house back into the room where she had her conversation with her madness.
Oh, yeah. Because this was freaky because you see something like trying to come through the wall.
Yeah.
And the way it was filmed, I thought it was like the mini fat-cheeked face again.
Right. Yes. I absolutely was right there with you thinking, you're going to have another face-to-face with the madness again here,
it looked like
Alice.
It was awesome how they filmed that.
Yes.
But she's standing there staring at it. Now, granted, we're not going anywhere because first person and all. But I'm like, what is that? It's like pulsating. I was freaking out.
Yeah. And you see a face and you go, oh no.
Yeah.
But it didn't have real big cheeks. So you go, okay, it's got to be Izzy.
At first, though, it looked like it because it
was
her head. And
yeah.
All of a sudden, yeah, she pops out. She's like, what the hell? Take me home. And Alice, which I'm assuming, okay, Izzy is going to be what helps Alice kind of come back to her reality.
You would think, that was what I was hoping too, was her saying that she's there for a reason. Yeah, it's to save Izzy.
Yeah.
But no.
Oh, you have to hide a little longer. It pushes her back in.
Yeah.
What?
It's like, what?
I was so confused.
Yeah.
And it was just like, it was more that I was startled that Alice is like, oh, just hide some more, and shoves her back in.
Right. That was not the Alice that we met at the beginning of this series.
No, it wasn't.
And of course, we cut to Zoe in the field running, and she stops and of course sees something on the ground, and yeah, it's another hand. And so she
pulsating area.
Right. Yeah. And she pulls one of the plants out of the ground, and that's what it is. Yes, very. And of course she stands up, and who are you? The gardener, I guess.
Or is that what I do? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, he's back. And it was funny because she's like, oh, I hear you like riddles. And she wants to know what's through the door, what can go through. And she asks him just point blank. I was compelled, what is it? And he's like, I like riddles.
Yeah.
You gotta do better than that. But the riddle, which I was impressed she pulled that up just right away.
I was too.
Oh my gosh, I'm not going to remember it. I'm not a peach, but I'm not a fly. I can't remember it all. Something like how I can get through the door. What am I? There we go.
Right.
And then I loved it because he stopped and he's like, oh, she did a riddle.
Yeah.
And he was so happy. And the top of her head. And he's like, a child. And then he's just happy, kind of walks away. It's like, I got it right. She's like, all right, well, I got an answer. So apparently a kid needs to go through there, which I still... Why?
It can't be good.
No, it can't. Then we cut back to Louise and Luke, and Louise is, helping Luke get up, and he obviously can't talk because we don't know how deep this wound is.
Right.
And he's trying to mouth some of the words.
Right.
And father. He's like, yeah, your dad did this. He missed your artery. You're lucky because you'd be dead. And Luke is understandably upset.
Yes, absolutely. Who wouldn't be upset if your dad tried to kill you?
Right. And he wants to yell, and Louise is like, don't do it. Don't. Because you're just going to mess yourself up. And then they hear something outside. And they see Aldous and the Munchkins. And they're creepy walking around and have their noses up and smelling.
Yeah.
Hi, you gotta stop. This is weird.
Yeah. Hunting dogs.
Yes. And Louise does manage to get Luke down to the basement. And I'm like, basement is not a good place. I don't know.
Yeah, you don't have a way out.
But all of a sudden...
Yes, they do.
Yeah. Oh, we can get out. We can use the tunnels. How deep are those nails? She couldn't even pry one damn board.
Right.
I mean, we talked about that last episode, how crappy it looked like. They covered, and suddenly it looks like a whole lot more is covered. Can't get any of them off.
Right.
And poor Luke is no help because he's lost a lot of blood, and he's just sitting there like, I hope I don't die.
Yeah, he's still on some heavy drugs, so just because he's awake, he's not
there.
Yeah, he's not a whole lot of help to anybody right now.
Oh, gosh. But yeah, I'm like, at this point, Kool-Aid Man, just right through that thing.
Yeah.
I don't know, you gotta do something and get out, because I was freaking out, because you hear it, and I'm like, oh my god, what does this mean? What's happening?
Right.
And then they cut away, and they go back to the peaches. I'm like, damn it!
Yeah. And Alice finds Joseph playing chess with Smart Mouth and the thing.
Yeah, the Cenobite thing. I don't know what that is.
Tree Mom, I don't know. Yeah.
Alice is just like, okay, this thing has no face. I'm cool.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. And Joseph immediately knows something's on her mind. So he goes, what's going on? And she asks, well, what's the plan for Izzy? Oh, we aren't going to eat her. We're going to take her home.
Yeah. We don't eat children. But you've pretty much said that, yeah, you're eating other people.
Yeah. And do you know where she's at?
Yeah. Can you take me to her? Yeah. Alice, what the hell is wrong with you?
Exactly. Exactly. And then,
more pissed every time she was on screen.
Right. And we don't see her taking. We see Edie and the thing taking Izzy to the red door.
Right.
And you go,
Edie's talking
damn
about,
you, Alice.
This is what messed up, too. Edie's talking about how she has kids her age, Izzy's age, and, it'd be great. And why is she taking her in there? What is going on?
Right. And all three of them walk in together.
Oh, I'm not happy.
No.
And we go back down to Luis's house, and you see all of a sudden, like, a hand come through the door.
Right.
Trying to reach the handle. I couldn't open the handle, but the lock was far enough up, so at least that was good. Because Aldous was trying to break through. And I wasn't sure if it was him or if it was one of the Munchkins.
Right.
And thankfully... But then we hear shots fired.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, who the hell is up there shooting? Seriously, I had no idea.
Right.
And then how the person ends up getting through the door, it was questionable too. But it turns out it's the chief, and he's come down, and Luis, man, fierce.
Yes.
Standing there, like, come to finish what you started. And he doesn't say anything, and he kind of looks at his son, and Luke opens his eyes, and she's like, yeah, I found him where you left him.
Yeah.
Or dead. Dun, dun, dun.
And of course, he sees the bowling bag and says, you brought it back? You brought back the head? And Luis is right on him for evidence.
Uh-huh. And yeah, it's like, all right, well, what are you going to say? And plus, we don't know if he would heal if you just kind of put the head close to his body. Who knows?
Oh, absolutely. So the chief puts his gun away and tells him he came to set it right and that he will take it from here. And Luis goes, like hell you will.
Yeah,
she ain't letting you take Luke away.
Right. Nobody believes you. And by the way, those people you just shot upstairs, they ain't staying dead.
Yeah.
Obviously, you haven't figured that part out yet.
No, because of course he goes into a little speech about how he wanted to make it quick and I was afraid of what they would do to you.
Yeah. What do you want? A medal? Father of the Year?
Yeah. Father of the Year.
I don't even think
Luis was just... Oh, Luis was sharp-tongued in this episode.
It was great.
And then he admits he panicked, and Luke grabs a Sharpie and a letter and writes, what now?
Yeah, not like you can just, we're just going to call it the feds.
Yeah. And, of course, the chief says they're both marked, and they need to get the hell out of there and figure out their next move. And that's when Luis informs him that those bodies that are laying up there will get right back up unless the heads are removed.
Yeah, at least we have figured out that they're not getting up for that.
Right. So Louise asks him, are you with us or with them? And he replies, let's get started.
I was kind of surprised, I'll be honest.
Yeah.
Because I didn't think he would be on their side. Like,
yep.
Did you think he was going to turn? I really did think he was going to turn again.
I thought it was possible, but Aldous was there. He knew that Luke was there, so you either let Aldous take care of it or you take care of it, because you killed both brothers now and two of the Munchkins, so the Peaches family has been reduced by almost half. And so you've got Grandma, the wife, and a pregnant Edie and Joseph. So are your odds getting better? Probably. Yeah. So we go back to the Peaches home and
Alice, just like no big deal, getting ready. 50s garb.
It's almost lunchtime.
Yeah.
Can't wait. Zoe comes in and tells her that they're looking for a kid. They need her for something. And then Alice out and out lies. It's not what you think. Izzy was lost up here and I found her and they let her go.
Did they? Did they, Alice?
No. So Zoe, of course, asks if she's sure about that. And Alice tells her it's like she is in this burning building and she can either be burned alive or jump, and that she doesn't know what will happen when she jumps, but she knows there's someone there to catch her.
That's a big stretch.
Yeah. That's putting all your faith in Joseph Peach, and that's probably not the person you need to be putting faith into.
No. And then Alice is like, go put on your dress. It's almost time.
Yeah, because the thing comes in.
Yeah. Again, why are you so damn calm looking at this thing with no face?
Right. Looks like something that was skinned alive or something.
No, Alice, no.
Yeah. And she leaves with it.
Yeah. And is happily end up walking into this big ballroom. This, like, I don't know, almost cathedral area.
Right.
Where the family.
Where probably several ceremonies have been performed.
Right. You have no idea what is going on in there.
No. Because he's got on this black robe and is standing behind a large slab with a lot of candles behind.
But we have, Grandma and Edie and Smartmouth on one side and Evelina and Zoe on the other. Just sitting there. And Zoe, it's like, first of all, how did you beat her in there? But whatever. Just looking so solemn. It's like,
yeah.
Is this what happened to her? Because from the flashback,
absolutely.
I almost felt like it didn't actually happen up there.
Right. I agree. It did not. I think it happened on Earth.
Okay. So maybe that's why things are a little different with Zoe.
Right. But she knows what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And how she felt afterwards.
And okay, Alice is in an all-white dress.
Yeah.
And the thing picks her up and puts her on a slab, and Joseph ends up dunking her whole head, well, not her whole head, her whole hairline, basically.
Right.
Into blood. And I'm like, she's wearing a white dress. Now here I am thinking, all right, how's the continuity going to work?
Yeah.
I'm like, is she going to come back? There's going to be nothing on the dress because then I'll just be pissed.
Right.
And then I'm sitting there like, Zoe looks like she's about to hurl. And she's so stressed out. And Alice is like, yay, I'm having my head dunked in blood. And I was like, these girls really don't know what's going on. They're both like just so fused and like the craziness is taking over and they've just changed personalities.
Right. And we see the tool that he used on Zoe and he tells Alice to open up.
I'm like, he's going to pull out your tongue.
Yeah.
But he pulled out the giant centipede thing.
Yeah.
It was gross.
The centipede of madness.
Yes. Oh, it was so bad. And then he's like, oh, I'm just going to put it in this little box thing for you. You can take it out and play with it later. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, what is happening?
Yeah, because we saw him put it in that same container for Zoe, but we never saw it again.
Right.
So we don't know what happened to it.
For all we know, it's running loose.
It could be. Just waiting to get back into Zoe.
Yeah.
Or Alice.
And like all the family claps then, because it's like, it's done. And Joseph kind of lifts Alice up and she hugs him and everybody's happy except Zoe.
Right.
And I wasn't sure if she wasn't happy because of the situation or because she knows what's coming next.
I think it's probably both, because she definitely knows what's coming next. And now that Zoe's kind of gotten over that initial whatever it is that they go through, she's come back to her senses, almost.
What she had.
Yeah. Back down to Luis's place, and we see Chief busily sawing off Aldis's head as Luis holds his legs down.
Why didn't they just use the same tool that she used on Robert?
I don't know. Maybe Robert broke that tool, getting his head off.
Or she's like, no, why don't you get your hands dirty there, Chief old boy?
Yeah, now that could be true too, because he was definitely covered in blood using that big old saw.
Like, all right, Chief old buddy, old pal, you can get your hands dirty for real this time.
Yeah, you're going to get to do it the hard way.
Ugh. Yeah, it's kind of messed up because you have the 3 bodies down there now. You have Robert kind of laid up on the couch. Luke, I mean.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, God, what is happening?
Right, and the Chief looks at Luke while he's doing this, and I didn't see a look of a loving father that regretted what he did.
No.
I saw, this should be you down here, in his eyes.
Yeah,
and I went,
he's more
whoa.
mad that he's even doing that to basically cover up whatever.
Right, covering up his son's mistake that he didn't know anything about.
Yeah, well, we go back up. And I'd really like to know, too, where they actually did the interior for the Peach's home. Because that's a really cool looking place. But
yes.
Zoe leaves the ballroom, and she's pretty ticked, so she goes straight to the red door. And apparently is a little surprised she was able to go through this time.
Right.
And right before she goes through, though, she gets the vision of what's inside, the weird monster thing. And she opens the door and sees Izzy actually lying inside the circle where we've seen her before.
Right, where she was getting pasted or marked.
Yes. And at least Zoe, kind of runs over to her and picks her up.
Right.
And then we see the weird, skull guy with red robe on the other side kind of coming out. And he looks pissed because then Zoe, runs.
Yep.
But she sees the creature, in the room. It was weird because it looked like all of a sudden they were across from each other.
Right.
And then they were behind each other. I was a little confused. I'm sure it's just artistic.
Yeah, had to be.
But she gets down and thankfully Izzy is kind of coming around enough to hold on to her. She has to put her down though when they're running a bit and she's able to find a door that leads to the park.
Right. A white door this time.
Yes. And she's go hide, telling Izzy go. And Izzy was looking at her but you're not coming? So
no.
I kind of wonder if Izzy knows what happened to her mom at this point.
I don't know if she knew what happened. I doubt very seriously she knew what happened.
Okay.
If she would have known what happened to her mother, she would have tried to find a way to get out of there faster than she did.
I gotcha.
And so Zoe opens the door and tells Izzy to go to her hiding place and wait there. And if I'm not there by sunrise, go to 421 Dewlap Street.
Now, was that Louise's house?
I'm assuming it is.
Okay. That's what I thought. But Izzy looks really confused and she's like, what do you mean? And she's like, I have to go back for my sister. I have to go for Alice. And at this point, I think Izzy's she gave me to them.
Yeah.
So I don't think Izzy's too concerned, but we'll find out if anything does change with Alice. I'm not sure.
Right. I'm not 100% sure it's going to happen either, but maybe seeing the Peaches God might put some fear into her, so or some sense into her.
That would be helpful.
Yeah. So, of course, Alice is in her room playing with the container that her madness bug is in. And Zoe comes in and tells her that they didn't send Izzy home and they were going to feed her to something.
Yeah. And again, this is where I'm watching and I'm like, are you kidding me?
Yeah, because it just goes in one ear and out the other. It like it doesn't even register to her.
Right.
And of course, Zoe goes, "Oh crap, I remember that feeling."
Yeah. And she actually says that. And I was kind of surprised. She's like, oh yeah, I remember. Because Alice just keeps staring in the container like, oh, it's out of me. Great.
Yeah. And Zoe actually tells Alice that she felt the exact same thing that Alice is feeling. It's like you don't have a care in the world. You don't care about anyone or anything.
And they lied. They lied about the kid. And
Alice closes the container and says, I know.
I wanted to punch her in the face.
Yes.
I wanted Zoe to punch her in the face.
Yes. Drag her out by her hair.
Which actually, because of this, I'm starting to wonder about the sisters.
Right.
Not just our sisters now.
Right, but the sisters back then. Yeah. Exactly.
Because Alice just kind of gets up and goes to the makeup table.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, lunch will be ready soon. You have to get ready. And she's kind of doing her makeup, and Zoe grabs a container. She's like, you don't understand. Because she shows her legs. She's like, it makes you do things.
Right.
You don't want to do it. And Alice is like, whatever. But then Zoe's like, all right, this is what you want to do? Watch this. She's like, grabs the container and reaches in. And Alice is just like, what are you doing? And she's like, I want to be the way I was. I don't want to be this thing.
Right.
Which is weird because this thing is the normal person with no madness.
Right.
Or whatever. And so she grabs the centipede again. Because this one messed me up.
Oh, yeah.
And Alice is like getting louder. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing? And Zoe eats it. And you see like blood like on her. Like, oh.
Yeah.
Hope nobody was eating during this.
Yeah.
And Alice, like, I don't know if she was mad. Like, you couldn't tell what was happening with her right here.
Right. Because she's in that euphoric state that she really doesn't care about anything. So it was like, okay, so what does that prove? Doesn't change anything. Yeah.
Seriously, I am really starting to think that maybe this was the same kind of attitude with the sisters previously.
Right.
And that it wasn't some random person that killed them, that maybe the one killed the other and then themselves.
That's possible. Or they could have just decided to go out together.
Maybe.
Yeah. So we go back to Luis's place, and it's a bloody mess down in the basement, but it's done.
Finally.
Yeah.
A long way around. They're going to have to hose that place down.
Yeah, burn it down. And, of course, Luke writes again, what now? And his father replies, now we get the hell out of here. And Luke scribbles, where? And Chief replies, anywhere but here. Then Luke scribbles out the W on where, meaning here. And Luis says he means, what about the people who live here? And Luke nods in agreement.
Right. Yeah, the chief is like, whatever, let him have everybody. I'm gone.
Yeah. And we get this story again. It's story time with Dad about when he had a babysitter who told him to eat all his food because people were starving. And a few days later, the postman talks to him about packages that are leaky, addressed to starving kids.
He wanted to try to help the kids. And I like that. And that's sweet.
Yes.
But
then his dad turns around and says, yeah, I had to sit you down and tell you that you can't save everyone. Yeah. You got a perverted outlook on life there, bud. And he goes on to say that you save the ones you love and the ones you know, but the ones you don't know are less of a priority.
Yeah. And I feel like this was the chief kind of looking at Luis like, that would be you.
Right. Absolutely. And then you see the chief gunshot. He falls back. Luis screams. And there's Luke holding a gun.
I was surprised.
Yeah, that was not expected.
No. And I was like, holy crap, okay.
Don't blame you a bit, Luke.
Oh, no. I don't blame him, but I was just really surprised.
Yeah. That was something I did not see coming, but if I'd have been in his place, I'd have probably done it too. After that, you can't save everybody, and no, you're worthless. Get out of here.
Right.
You're gone.
No, we're not done. You tried to kill me.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's where we end with them. So we don't see any more. So it's like, holy shit. All right. It can't exactly be a murder-suicide thing happening if they're trying to play that later.
Oh, who knows? Maybe you can.
Maybe Joseph will believe it.
Not likely. I don't think Joseph may not find out.
No, that's true, because we don't know what's going to happen to Joseph at this point.
That's right. He may not get a chance to find out that his 2 sons are dead.
Because back up at the Peaches residence, we have Joseph handing Grandma a rose, and she's all, like, giggly. Like, oh, isn't that sweet? And all the food brought out this time has, like, individual covers on it.
Yes.
And I say this because they all kind of toast Alice. It's like, oh, yay, you're great. You're adopted, and we love you. And it's like, okay, why is nobody taking the tops off their food? And they only take the top off Alice's plate.
Right.
And Joseph's like, take a big bite. So she grabs her silverware, and she goes, take a bite. And she has that, like, euphoric look on her face.
Right. Just
good food can do that.
Right. But it's protein. It's meat. So yes, we saw it's the same look Zoe had when she ate pieces of herself.
That was messed up too. But
yeah,
when this happens and everyone's like, oh great, we can eat. And they start taking the tops off, and Edie all of a sudden like turns her head and she's like, where's Zoe? I was half expecting them to take like one of the tops off the plates, and you're gonna see like Zoe's hand or something that was
right.
Zoe.
Yeah.
I was like, oh shit, and I started to freak out, and then all of a sudden Alice is like, oh, I think she left. She was freaking out about the kid, not even saying about Izzy, who she was the one who was super pissed when the cops weren't saying the name.
Right.
And again, just wanted to slug her right here.
Yes.
Get it together, woman. And why is Edie the one that's like, this is the one not on board, but I'm concerned about her?
Right.
That seemed weird.
Yeah.
But instantly, when she says that, Joseph gets up and he has his hat. It's like, where was that? Like, it's all of a sudden in his hand. He's putting it on. It's like, is there like a weird thing underneath the table for you to hang your hat on? Because that's weird.
And he gets a look from Evelina that would burn.
Oh man.
Through anybody.
Yeah. And if looks could kill.
Yeah.
And he's like, all right, Dan, I'm off. So it's like, is he going to look for Izzy? Is he going to look for Zoe? Is he going to look for both of them?
Right.
And you have that weird phase out, though, on his face.
Yes, he does have a phase out. And you go, oh, that's not good.
And then here comes this other little munchkin that we've never seen before.
Right. How many do they have? They have a whole pack of them?
He kind of puts his hand out, and it grabs his hand, and they walk. And again, this is where I felt like it was real childlike here.
Right.
And they head into the room with the red door.
Yeah.
Izzy's not there, and he has to walk like all the way to the area Izzy was supposed to be at. It's not like there's panels. It's an empty room.
Right.
And
well, it's not real lit, so you can't tell how much further it goes back.
That's true.
Because they go to where there's kind of a semicircular something there. And that's when they stop, and Joseph takes his hat off and says, God, I am your servant. Don't be angry with us, please.
Right. And the munchkin had kind of freaked out. And next thing we know, somehow it's being dragged off into the darkness. And Joseph just was not picking up his head. It's like, okay, I hope for the best.
Right. And you know it's not because you hear crump, crump, crump.
Yeah, all the chewing and crunching. And I'm like, oh, shit. And then he says, we will bring her back for you, the child we marked. I promise. Oh my God.
Yeah.
So apparently they're going to feed her to him is what I'm gathering.
Yes. That was the plan. Oh, the plan all along was she was supposed to be his nourishment.
Apparently eating those little munchkin things aren't going to do it.
No.
You need a bunch. It's hard to fill
Yeah.
But I don't know, like, Joseph, is he pissed? Is he, like...
No, he's scared to death right now.
I couldn't tell the emotion from him at this point.
Right, yes. It was very hard to read it, but no, he is scared to death.
Oh my gosh, this is crazy.
Yeah.
This was not the turn I thought that was going to happen.
Right. And it leaves us a couple of possibilities. Either the family goes down to try to find Izzy, or Luis and Luke end up coming up trying to find with Zoe, trying to find Alice.
Like maybe.
Or they just meet each other in the park and have a big knockdown drag out.
Oh my gosh. There's so many questions with this.
Right.
What do you guys think? Because this is a whole nother level. Like, I can't even figure out where it might go.
I know. There's no telling where this is going to end up.
So shoot us your thoughts to SYFY Talk. It's SYFY Talk at fangirlzone.com. Let us know what you think. We'll see if any of us are right come the end of the season. Don't forget to rate and review us on iTunes and all the other platforms you're finding us on. We are now on Spotify as of today.
Yay!
So another platform you can find us on. Don't forget, good ratings and reviews help other fans of the show find us. Tell your friends. We do hope you are enjoying the podcast. Don't forget to check out the website, and it has our links, which are fixed. Thank you to the listener who let us know that some of our links were all wonky. We got that fixed.
Yes.
We do appreciate that, too. But www.fangirlzone.com, we have our shopping links on there if you want geeky t-shirts, because I love those things. And our Redbubble store, where you can see Steve and I, who look super awesome, cartoonized. I don't even think that's the word, but it is right now. I just love it. Better than in real life. But anyway. Alright, so for this episode of SYFY Talk, I am Sean, Fangirl S.
And I'm Steve. It's like you don't have a care in the world. You don't care about anyone or anything.